Well, you know it's Christmas Eve here. Bob Cordaro with you, happily. People say, "Oh, you're going to work on Christmas Eve?" I said, "Yes." I said, "These are the people I hang around with all year. Of course I want to go and be there." Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th, year of our Lord, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I can prove it because we are having Christmas again. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, Floyd Robb, Springbrook, Keith Harris, Old Forge, Jerry Vassell, Tunkhannock and Exeter, Steve Brick, DuPont, Edward Powell, Jefferson Township, and Roscoe Monty Kissback, Berwick. The United States of America, the nation founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, amazing, unbelievable founding fathers, that government would not be, could not be, shall not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation, not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups or controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they use it. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse, and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. Well, I can't find my sound block, so we have to gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. 9:14, the official time. Bacardo Jewelers Watch. By the way, not too late to go to Bacardo's. And you know what I would buy now? A gift certificate. And they'll work it out. I think it's a great thing. I know they had a great season, and every time I was in there, it was jammed, but they've got more to do. They're more than happy. They're on duty and more than happy. So stop by if you've got caught without it, or you want to buy something extra nice. You don't have to buy anything, although there's plenty of selection. But yeah, I'm done with all that. I have something that didn't come in. It didn't come in, but that's okay. And I'll explain it to Cutie. But other than that, ready for action. Ready for action. I did the Bo Dietl party Monday night in Manhattan. Myself and my buddy Johnny and Ellie we had a great driver, our friend Steve Morris. And we had a blast. Every year I get to say hello to Nicholas Pileggi and a bunch of other characters. And, of course, Bo. And Bo had, do you guys remember we promoted this show with a Sinatra singer down at the Kirby? And it was fabulous. Remember that? Well, he has him every year. Our guy, Steve. And then he added something else. This year, he had a opera singer, Christopher Macchio. He's known as Trump's opera singer. And you know Magnet Music. Well, Mike is there, and he's sort of his sound guy or manager. So we had almost an old home week at Hunt and Fish Club with Macchio and Mike Magadan. I was great. It was really great and all fun. We went. We met my man Shaw Teddy Atkinson. We've had him on the show before. I told him we're way overdue. I was in prison with him, and he's got an amazing story. He's a personal trainer to the stars in New York. And then we met my man Mark Mayer at Carnegie Club for cigars. Oh, this was a fabulous night. But I knew I would be devastatingly shot down. And by the way, I got up early. I actually thought about coming in and doing the show yesterday. And I said, you know what? No, it'll catch me later. It'll catch me tomorrow. It'll carry through the whole holidays. I just can't do a big night and then not have the whole next day off. Crazy stuff. But I can still do that night. That at least I can do. Well, we're looking forward to a few things. We got David DeCosmo on A Christmas Miracle today. We're going to have Battle of the Bulge conversation at 11 o'clock with our man Rick Bigelow. And it's just, my friend is coming in. Here's my 94-year-old veteran friend. And he's going to read a Christmas poem. Joe Barna, my man. And I was thinking about taking the day off when Joe Barna reached out and said he could come on and do the Christmas story that he wrote. I said, done. I'm in. So he's at 10:05. I'm looking forward to all of that. And I picked out a lot of Christmas music. Murph picked out a lot of Christmas music. And I decided to go with Christmas quotes from holiday movies throughout the day. So much to do, so much fun. And I'm excited to be with you today. I really, truly am. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Kenny Rogers, Mary, did you know? Fabulous, fabulous. I mean, it's as good as a Christmas song can get. It really is. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. We think about, well, a couple of texts I want to get to. From Rich McHale, he says, Merry Christmas, Bob. May you and all your family be blessed with the spirit of Christmas. We are. He continues, it's my wish your radio family also be blessed. Stay healthy. Thank you, man. And that's true. I say that to everybody listening and everybody that listens regularly, even if you're not with us today or at this moment. It's Merry Christmas to all of you. Blessed Christmas to all of you. More importantly, remembering what it is. Now, I've got something that I need to read, and I read it. I think I read it every Christmas, but it's called A Soldier's Silent Night. The words by James Schmidt. 'Twas the night before Christmas. He lived all alone in a one-bedroom house made of plaster and stone. I had come down the chimney with presents to give, to see just who in this dwelling did live. I looked all around, a strange sight to see, no tinsel, no presents, not even a tree. On the wall hung pictures of far distant lands, medals and badges, awards of every kind. A sobering thought came alive in my mind. This house was different. It was dark. It was dreary. I had found the home of a soldier. I could see that most clearly. The soldier lay sleeping, silent, alone, curled up on the floor in this one-bedroom home. His face was so gentle, the room in such disorder, not at all how I pictured a United States soldier. Was this the hero of whom I just read, curled up on a poncho, the floor for a bed? Then I realized the other families I saw this night owed their lives to soldiers who were willing to fight. In the morning, round the world, children would play, grown-ups would celebrate a bright Christmas day. But they all enjoy freedom each month of the year because of soldiers like the one lying here. I couldn't help but wonder how many lay alone on a cold Christmas Eve in lands far from home. The very thought brought a tear to my eyes. I dropped to my knees. I started to cry. The soldier awakened. I heard his rough voice. Santa, don't cry. This is my life choice. I fight for freedom. I don't ask for more. My life is my God, my country, my core. The soldier rolled over and drifted to sleep, but I couldn't control it. I continued to weep. I kept watch for hours, so silent and still, as both of us shivered from the cold night's chill. I didn't want to leave him on that cold, dark night, the guardian of honor, so willing to fight. Then the soldier rolled over, in a voice soft and pure, he whispered, "Carry on, Santa. It's Christmas Day. All is secure." One look at my watch, I knew he was right. Merry Christmas, my friend. May God bless you this night. Amazing. That's, I'll read it again before the program concludes because it's astonishing. So I heard on the news, and maybe we'll hear from today, but Bob Bolus is having his dinner, and it's a really, I think, an amazing event. It's a free dinner for all from noon to 6 for anyone who is alone on Christmas. And that's a big deal because so many people are, by circumstances beyond their control, some by choice. And so he does this every year. It is fabulous. And he's a controversial guy. I don't agree with him on everything. I agree with him on a lot. But he's got charity in his heart, and he does this every holiday. Hey, somebody else texted in, "Hey, Bob, Bo Dietl said he would leave New York if that Islamic idiot was elected." Well, the Islamic idiot has been elected. Is Bo still leaving? I didn't even ask him. It's funny. It was mostly chit chat, because I'm not going to try to dominate all his conversation. He's got, a couple hundred guests coming in and out and people who are big clients of his and all that. So I'm not going to bother him with it, but I will ask him that. We're going to have him. We'll have him on. We'll have him on. I want to know what his reaction is and what he thinks he could do and what he thinks other people can do to save New York City from this insanity. But then they could. Fred Duckman says, "Have a great Christmas." Thank you, Fred. Looking forward to listening to you in 2026. Well, I'll be here next Monday. Now, I'm off the week of the 5th of January, but I'm on next Monday. I'm not here Friday, but I'll be here Monday. So don't you worry. Don't jump ahead to 2026 just yet. Okay? All right. Jack from Florida checking in. He said, wishing you and your family a Merry, Merry Christmas and the best New Year ahead. Happy holiday to all in Northeast Pennsylvania. Thank you, Jack. Hey, and if you've got a Christmas tradition, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you do. I'll obviously tell you what I do, but I'm as interested in what you do and what you've done in the past as anything else. And my man, Mark from Kingston, or I'm sorry, Mark from Hazleton, he sent me, and this is, it's great, his Christmas Eve tradition. And we followed the Slovak, even though we're half Italian, we followed the Slovak Christmas Eve. It's the fishes, it's fairly similar, but he had the same experience as I had as a young kid. We didn't like anything. Now I can't wait to have mushroom soup tonight. Anyway, we need to take a break. I got to tell you what that is after we do the Veterans Tribute. Bob Cordaro with you on Christmas Eve, lovingly, happily with you on Christmas Eve. We'll be back. our veterans tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend, John Basiliga. His great company, Basiliga Hospitality, well, they'll be roaring all weekend. Close Christmas Day, but they're still available. And there's another great gift idea. Last minute, I bought universal gift certificates to all of his places. And they gives them all kinds of options because they got 3 amazing bar restaurants. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, Far Street Tavern, in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton, the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. And guess what? You could use them at the Scranton Art House. Check out a movie, food, drink, all kinds of great stuff there. And then, of course, at a Terra 519 and the Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, the universal gift certificate, believe me, it'll go over well. Floyd Robb. He was 77 when he passed away December 3rd. He was from Springbrook. Born in Taylor. Proud graduate of North Pocono High School, class of 1968. He went on to serve his country in the United States Army during the Vietnam War. Following his military service, he was employed at the Tobyhanna Army Depot. Had a great career there. He's survived by his brother-in-law, his niece, and other family members. And his family would like to thank Adventura at Creekside for the great care, as well as Wayne Memorial Hospital. Floyd Robb. Keith Harris. He was just 72 when he passed December 3rd. He was from Old Forge when they said he died of a broken heart after the death of his mother on November 9th. Born in Washington, D.C., Keith was a 5-year dialysis patient at DeVita Old Forge and a proud Army veteran. Keith loved his Harley, his banjo, and his guitar, and he played in bands in his younger years. He was an excellent pool player. He had a favorite saying for his sister, "I'll get to it." Keith leaves behind his son, Keith, and a bunch of other family members, including 4 grandchildren. Keith worked his whole life for Herff Jones. Keith Harris. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Not too late to save your Christmas giving and do it the easy way. Well, you can go to Picardo's and go around the corner to any one of the places, Basiliga Hospitality, and get that gift certificate. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, morning clouds, breezy with sunshine in the afternoon. It'll be 37 degrees. It was more than breezy overnight, wasn't it? Tonight, cloudy with a chance of flurries, low 25. Christmas Day, cloudy and milder. It'll be about 40. Friday, cloudy and colder with snow developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday morning. Accumulations of 6 inches or more possible on Friday. 27 degrees in temperature. Saturday morning, snow showers, otherwise cloudy and cold, 30. Sunday, cloudy with a mix of rain, snow, and sleet. High 35 with temperatures dropping through the day. Not an encouraging forecast there, huh? In any event, we're back. And you know what? It's Christmas Eve. And David DeCosta got in touch yesterday and said, I've got a Christmas miracle story, which I'm fully aware of and I love. And he is here with us now. David DeCosmo. How are you, my friend David?
I'm doing well, thank you, Bob. How about yourself?
Fantastic. Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, too. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share a story I have shared before, and it's something that kind of reminds people that, yes, there are Christmas miracles that still happen. And mine happened in 1988. And, Bob, I was a Christmas Eve shopper.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah, that's a very,
You
very,
used to go to
very.
the Globe. Did you go to the Globe like I did?
No, I was from Hazleton, so I pretty much was down in the either Wilkes-Barre area or Hazleton area.
Uh-huh.
But it was a very bad habit. But really, it in a sense, it kind of lifted my Christmas spirit to do it that way. But my wife, as I think is the case with many wives, don't really ask for anything. Men seem to have a list of things they would like to have. At least my wife didn't do that. Whatever, she'd be happy with anything. But that year, in 1988, she wanted a lawn ornament that was shaped like a lamb. It stood about maybe a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet tall, and it had fabric on it that actually looked three-dimensional, as though it were the side of a lamb. And that was what she wanted. Now, I had already arranged one gift, but it was in Montrose, and that was about, for me, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half drive, depending on traffic. So I knew I had to get that. Now, the lawn ornament being somewhat unusual, I figured I better get that first. So I get that out of the way because I got to do the other shopping and then get to Montrose. Well, I hit a couple lawn and garden shops, and several of them were aware of what I was looking for, but none of them had it. And now it's getting late. We're talking 4:30 in the afternoon, and I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll make up a little gift certificate. I'll get a Christmas card and say, your lamb will be arriving soon, and then I'll shop after Christmas to get it. Then I started out, after I got some of the other things in the area that I wanted to pick up, I started out for my appointment in Montrose. And now it's really getting late. And remember, 4:30 on a Christmas Eve, pretty dark. So I'm heading out, driving, and I'm up along Route 92, along the Susquehanna River. Basically, I guess in the Falls or Harding area. And as I'm driving along, you're seeing Christmas lights here and there. I pass a house, and there I see one of the ornaments in the yard, one of those lawn ornaments that looks like a lamb. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that one's all kind of beat up. I'm not going to make an offer on something like that. But I wonder, they have to know where they bought it. So will I disturb them on Christmas Eve to say, where did you buy that? Now I can find out. Maybe I have a chance of still getting it. Well, that's kind of a, very forward thing to do, especially on a Christmas Eve. But I thought, this is for my wife. She doesn't ask for anything. I'm going to do it. So I go up and I knock on the door of this house, and a lady answers. The lady who makes the lambs.
Hmm.
She was an owner of a flower shop at one time. Her name was Madeline Woods, and she welcomed me into her house. And there are two of the lamb ornaments by her fireplace. One is a gift for someone. The other one was available. And there's quite a distance between Wilkes-Barre and Montrose. It's quite dark on a Christmas Eve after 4:30 in the afternoon. The odds of me seeing, being willing to stop, and going to the actual place I needed to go to, coincidence? Maybe. I tend to think not. And that lamb is in our living room right now,
Nice.
as it has been for all these years, 37 years, if my math is correct. Madeline passed away some time ago, and her sister lives in the home next to hers. And of course, up in that section, they're not row homes; they're a little distance.
Mm-hmm.
But her sister was the one who told me that Madeline was the one that I had greeted all those years ago. The house is now empty, And I don't know. I guess it's basically not being lived in, and probably won't be there someday. But I can't pass it without remembering the entire story flashing through my mind that I had my own Christmas miracle.
And now, do you keep that? They say there's minor miracles. There really are, and that sounds like one of them. But it's got to be so precious, that lamb.
Yeah,
You'll have to text me a
that
picture of it, David.
that's why we don't. That's why we don't use it as intended out in the yard. We keep it inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely send you a photo of it, Bob. It means so much to me. I've had occasion to preach, to take over a pulpit twice for ministers that were well, one was ill and the other was just away. And I normally include that story, even if it's not Christmas time, just to remind people that miracles do happen. And sometimes we don't know that they're miracles, or we don't understand them as miracles until we look back on them.
Mm-hmm.
We're more apt in our modern day run and grab society to think them as coincidence, but sometimes there's just too much coincidence
Yeah.
to me to suggest that it was that. And I'm sure if people reflect on things that have happened to them, people they've run into at certain times, people they've talked to at certain times, things that have happened that you didn't immediately grasp the total meaning, you might start discovering there are a lot more of those things than you might imagine.
Yeah.
So keep the faith.
We will. We will do that. And we look forward to another year of David Cosmo stories. We love them. Absolutely love them.
I'd love to have another year.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but in any case, I hope that we all can enjoy a really happy and peaceful New Year. And I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Bob. And as always, I remind you, I hope all your news is good.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much, David Cosmo. Merry Christmas to
Merry
you,
Christmas,
your whole
Bob.
gang. All right.
And to you and yours. Bye-bye
All
now.
right. We'll take a break and be back. Lorraine has a poem. It's Bob Cordaro on Christmas Eve. Robert Allen Michael of Jessup. Well, when he talks about Christmas lights on Church Street, he means Church Street in his hometown. We've been playing that throughout the season and love it, love it, love it. Well, it's Christmas Eve. And it would not be Christmas Eve without Lorraine from Hazleton. And Bulldog's stepping out a little bit here. He said, no Lorraine theme song. He's going to play Silver Bells for her. Okay, I'm with you on that one. We're changing a lot of things up today. Lorraine, how are you, my dear? Great to hear from you.
Hi, Annette. How are you?
Great.
Uh,
What do you got? What do you got, my dear?
I got another. I'm sorry, no way. Excuse me. I get a little hoarse here. Another poem in memory of my dear mother. God came and took you home that day, and it was during the Christmas season. I did not want to let you go, though down deep I knew he had his reason. Beautiful lights and decorations are all around, but they do not mean the same. I wish that you were here with me. Mother, do you hear me call your name? Every time I hear your silver bells, a tear falls from my eye, and suddenly I realize your love for me and that you wouldn't want to see me cry. I will never forget our Christmases together. Even though we seem far apart, all the fond memories will keep us close, for they'll always have a special place deep within my heart.
Nice. That is absolutely beautiful, Lorraine. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to us.
Thank you.
So we're in New York smoking cigars and drinking scotch, okay?
Yeah.
Mark Mayer and I, which by the way, he says, tell Lorraine Merry Christmas. So he says, and by the way, if you're out that way, which I know a bunch of our listeners are, stop at the Brick, one of the best bars in Long Island. And I can't wait to get there. Anyway, Lorraine, so here we are in Manhattan talking about Lorraine on Monday night. See that?
See that? I get around, don't I? Yeah. Well, tell them to come and get me, and I could recite poems and sing a song or two.
Well, just think, if you drank, we'd take you with us.
Well, is that a Mark? I know you're listening.
Unless you want to be designated driver, maybe that might work.
Well, yes. Listen, is that a criteria that you have to drink to get there? That's
to hang around with us, you do.
No, I don't. No, Mark. Mark will take my part. Mark.
So he's on I'm at the Carnegie Club on 56th Street. So he parks across Mark Mayer parks across the street at a garage, but the garage closes at 11:30. So we took him down. We took him down to his place down in Lower Manhattan, Battery Park City. But he had to go back the next day to get his car, and I'm sure they whacked him for the overnight fees. Well, but he wanted to talk about Lorraine a little longer, and so he missed out on his car.
See that? Well, it was well worth it, I'm sure.
Well, my dear, Merry Christmas, and thank you for reading that poem for us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Merry blessed Christmas, to you and yours, and to all my listening family on WILK.
That's better, because you were ready to say fans, and then I was going to jump all over you. You know that.
I don't listen. I block my I block my ears. When you coming to bring me my crummy potato here?
We had a day. Bulldog and I had a day planned, then he forgot about it. We'll figure it out.
Bulldog.
No, it's his fault, 100%.
Oh, come on.
Yep. because we were going to go. He had to work later that day, but we were going to go to see you and try to see Larry's Christmas tree down in Plymouth. But,
Yeah.
and that's a long day in the saddle. Just to go to Hazelton's a long day in the saddle.
Well, wait a minute. Oh, if I say you went to New York, you're going to say you didn't have to drive, but still, you've been places that you drove.
Yeah, we will be down in the new year for sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
darling. We'll talk to you before that, though. Merry Christmas, honey.
Okay, and pray for my brother. He has the flu, the poor guy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, honey. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Wazzy.
Bye-bye. You got it in. Hey, my man Nikki DeSantis, who Nikki sends me all kinds of great stuff. But I was never a candy cane fan. And I know I read it last year. But it said the meaning of the candy cane. It said many years ago, a candy maker wanted to make a candy that would symbolize the true meaning of Christmas, Jesus. The hard candy was shaped like a J to represent that Jesus is our rock of all ages. The candy was made of white to stand for the pureness of Jesus. The red represents the blood that Jesus shed to save us from our sins. So the next time you see a candy cane, take a minute to remember the real meaning of Christmas. Thank you, Nikki. 10 o'clock on my Ricardo Jewelers watch. That means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll be back. Pure greatness, the leg lamp. Great good morning, everyone. 10:07 a.m. as the Peanuts gang dances in the background. That's what it says on my Cordaro Jewelers watch this beautiful Wednesday, December 24, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend and friend of the veterans, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Keith Harris of Old Forge, Floyd Robb of Springbrook, Jerry Vassell of Tunkhannock via Exeter, Steve Brick, DuPont, Edward Powell, Jefferson Township, and Roscoe Monty Kishback, Berwick. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense and welcoming you. Somebody texted in, they said, Bob, great that you're not doing a best of show. Well, you can't do this. You know, you can't do this without a live person, and we're the last ones. They're going to a Christmas thing. The Bulldog and I are here grinding it out, right, Bulldog? Yeah, he says yes. All right, well, it's Christmas Eve, and our friend Joe Barna, and he corrected me. I said he was 94, he's 95, and our man Joe Barna is with us, as always, on Christmas. Joe, so great to hear from you, my friend. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Bob. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm even better now that I'm talking to you.
Well, so I feel better, too.
Well, my guy, Joe Barna, a Korean War combat veteran, we've had him on to talk about his experiences. We'll have him on in the future as well. But you've got a Christmas, like an essay that you put together for Christmas and on Christmas that you want to read to us.
I hope you like it.
I know I will.
I want to tell you about one particular Christmas that I spent in Korea. There were no Christmas trees, no trees decorated with balls, lights, or an angel on top. There were no toys or presents around the tree, and no one was singing Christmas carols. There was only the cold and blood-stained dirt. In a quiet, there was memories of Christmas before. It was a time of loneliness one finds hard to describe in combat. Each day is just another day. The soldier or Marine prays it won't be worse than a day before and that he will live to see another. As far as I could tell, none of us forgot Christmas because we all had our memories and our hope that we would see another Christmas with our families. When growing up, the most beloved and important person in my life was my grandmother. We call her Baba. Baba was about 5 foot tall. She was Slovak. Actually, she came from Slovakia. But she was my inspiration to want to live to be as long as I have so far. And we loved the most important person. She was a head chef at our traditional Holy Supper. With only 25 members coming to our house, she had a big job getting that long table in a dining room and a smaller table in the kitchen, all set up and covered with special ethnic foods. Baba stood barely 5 feet tall, but she was the boss, and all the cooking was done by her. Baba used to walk 9 blocks to church every day. She wouldn't miss a day, and she wouldn't take a ride. One day, she had a big brown, black, and white cat. The cat followed her to church one day and sat by her in a pew. The priest came down by there and said to her, he said, I hope that cat knows the Hail Mary. The that she was a Slavic immigrant and spoke broken English, but everyone knew what she meant when she talked. My favorite recipe Baba made was her mushroom soup. The soup was made from mushrooms that my four uncles picked all summer. She would make a pot of soup almost as big as a bucket because my uncles were all 200-pounders. When I was in Korea, Baba said, I got to put some soup away from Joe. He loved that soup, and he's going to get it when he comes home. So the year before, I also spent in Christmas with home. I was at boot camp, South Carolina. I had a warm bed, Christmas meal in the mess hall, but my sergeant was a tough drill sergeant. Okay. During all my writings, Bob, I have written about so many events that I have lived through. Some I write with a broken heart. Others are about times I enjoy life to the fullest. So many times I have put on paper days I wish I could forget. But no matter how hard I try, I will not forget them. These days were only a small part of my life. Many of these days I cried because I had good reason to. I read the newspaper from page 1 to the want ads, and there was not a page I would miss. Many times I read a story and say to myself, that should never have happened. But there is nothing I can do to prevent it. I have watched people die, some of them in my own family. Many have left their final breath out silently and quietly. In Korea, I stood by others and watched them die in pain while they should have had so many more years to live. We are brothers as war, and will sometimes die so another will live. We are brothers in war, and will sometimes live so others have to die. When a young boy goes into combat, his life is not guaranteed. All there is hope that the bullet coming at him will miss him, or the shell coming down on it will be the sound of a freight train passes over him. I sometimes wonder how God picks his angels. Why does he pick them when they're so young? I was asked one time, why do I write and talk about war while others who are in a war don't want to talk about it? Everyone will make their own decision about this matter. Of course, no one can bring back a young man who was killed in a war. So there has to be a time that he is never forgotten. Although the veteran is no longer among us, he has earned the honor that so many others have not. 1 minute, please. Yeah, on Christmas Eve, 1952, in Korea, I lived a day of my life that I will never forget. I found myself huddled in a trench in Korea. I believe it was colder there than it gets in Pennsylvania. But I had no choice of being there. The North Koreans and Chinese had set up huge loudspeakers in the mountains ahead of us. A voice come over the loudspeaker saying, "Merry Christmas to all of you Americans. We have prepared many gifts for you." In a few minutes, every gun, mortar, and artillery shell all shot at the same time. All over the lines, there were explosions, bullets flying, and shells landing. This lasted for probably 5 minutes, but it seemed like hours. Then a voice came over the loudspeaker saying, "Merry Christmas, all you Americans." Another day of fighting and praying had just begun. I'm sure every American in their trench, it said their prayer that night. I know my prayers was, "Please, God, give me another day." 1 minute. The year in 50. 1 minute, please.
You
I
take your
gotta
time.
turn this page here. I came home in 1952 from Korea. It was in November, and just in time for Christmas dinner. So we had Christmas dinner, and I went over to Barbara's house, and she had a big table set up, all kind of food on it. My family was there, her family was there, and Barbara said to me in late summer when I visited her, she said, "Joe, you wait." She went downstairs to her basement and returned with a container of soup stored away for me in a freezer. She heated it up on the stove, and I enjoyed that soup that I always missed all those years I was away from her. Baba was my inspiration. I loved her. I watched her live. I watched her die. I just wish everybody had a Baba because they are somebody very, very special. I want to wish you, Bob, and the little boy, if you see him, a very, very happy Christmas and a happy New Year. And I'm very honored to be able to talk to you, Bob, because I consider you a very, very dear friend.
And I do you too. By the way, you corrected me very quickly when I said you were 94 and said you tell Bob I'm 95. How's your health, Joe Barna?
I had a problem, Bob. About 7 weeks ago, I fell, and I broke a bone in my wrist, my right wrist, my right wrist, actually. And I had a little problem with my other things coming back and bothering me a little bit. Acid reflux, which I developed about 5 months ago. It's never left me right. And I had to go to the VA hospital for that. And I got it one Sunday morning, and Bob, I never felt pain as bad as that in my life.
Wow. But, this is coming from a Purple Heart. This is coming from a Purple Heart recipient.
Oh, I'm not going to give up yet. I still have a job to do yet.
Yes.
Father in heaven, he said, God don't want you yet.
Good. You stay with us for a little while, okay?
I'm not going to go away, Bob.
All right. Hey, Joe, by the way, you know I'm Slovak also. We have the mushroom soup, and I have a story, actually, a friend of ours from Hazleton, Mark, has his own story about Italian Christmas Eve. But I didn't like anything, including the mushroom soup. In fact, they couldn't put the sauerkraut juice in it because they wanted us to eat something on Christmas Eve. Now I can't get enough of it.
Oh, it's good, Bob. It's really good.
I know.
I used to eat 2-3 bowls of it every time I sit down. He put it away. She put it in her cellar, and at that time she only had an icebox.
Yeah.
Then I came home, and I was over her house. She said, "Wait, Joseph, I have something for you." And she went down and she got the mushroom soup.
Oh,
I was in heaven again. I made it, Bob. I made it.
Well, will you have some tonight?
I may.
I hope so.
Tomorrow's Christmas, you know.
Yeah, I can't wait. But listen, Joe, I am honored you called us. I'm honored on behalf of everyone listening that you were with us once again to give us your Christmas message, your Christmas essay. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop, Bob.
All right,
I'm going to keep on going.
All right. My friend, Joe Barna, our combat veteran from Korea, and one of the great, he's a great writer. He's just a good man. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Bruce Springsteen. We know, I mean, he's a goofball, but we love his music. We do. Shut Up and Sing, right? Santa Claus Coming to Town, 1975, live at the CW Post College, Greenville, New York. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. I mean, I am so electrified for Christmas after hearing from David DeCosmo, Lorraine, Joe Barna. Wow. Wow. My friend Kenny Smith checking in. He's got a loaf of bread for me. And it's abs. I put honey and butter on it. It's heavenly. And then Murph wants to make sure. He's my music man. Bo Dietl asked him about him. He goes, he said, tell your music man Merry Christmas, Murph. And I think he called him Merv, but he knew about Murph. But Murph wishing everybody listening a Merry Christmas. And he makes the show what it is. He just does. And my cousin Tommy P., he wants to let everybody know on Apple Street he's on patrol this Christmas Eve. He's on patrol. All right, let's go to the phone. Let's get at least one of these in here. Joe from Plains. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good morning.
Poet
Merry
Joe. I love you, man.
Buona Natale.
Thanks for checking in.
I figured it's a good day to read the Italian Christmas.
Please.
Christmas Eve.
How long is it? Because I'll decide whether we'll take a break and come back if you can hang. Or
I can hang if you like.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
let's
wait
do that
another
because I want to
second.
get it without rushing.
You got it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. We're going to do our great veterans tribute, a little bit of a weather report, and then we're going to come back with Poet Joe and his Italian Christmas poem. I cannot wait. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend, John Basiliga, friend of the vets as well. Today featuring one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Not too late to stop at any one of them and get a universal gift certificate. Like the Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, Far Street Tavern. On Far Street, West Scranton. Queen City Tavern, Main Drag, downtown Oliphant. And they're also good for a Terra 519, a modern take on fine cuisine, and it is gorgeous and great. And Stegmeyer Mansion, an old school feel in a big, beautiful mansion on South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. Jerry Vassell. He was 85 when we lost him December 11th after a long and courageous battle with Alzheimer's disease. He resided in Tunkhannock and was formerly from Exeter. He attended Exeter High School, then served in the U.S. Army. After his service, he graduated from LCCC and King's College. He began his career as a computer programmer and was soon promoted to management at Penn Security Bank, now People's. Before retiring, he was an officer at the bank and served on the board of directors. An avid outdoorsman, he loved hunting, fishing, hiking, riding quads, dirt bikes. He was always hanging out with his brother and best friend, Jack. He was known as Grandpa Jerry. He looked forward to spending the opening day of trout season with his friend, Johnny Pisanecki, and chatting with his friend, Bernie Foglia, at his diner. A talented musician. He played the piano, organ, trumpet, accordion. He was part of a wedding band, and later in life enjoyed playing the baby grand at Highland Park Senior Living, Wilkes-Barre Township. Known for his outstanding work ethic and strength. He had a great laugh. Survived by his beloved daughter, Tracy, his grandson, his granddaughter, his great-grandson, and many other loving family members. Jerry Vassell. Steve Brick. He was 82 when he passed December 10th. Born and raised in DuPont, where he died. He was devoted to his faith and a lifelong member of Sacred Heart of Jesus Parish, DuPont. Devoted husband of Kathleen Brick for 58 years. He was a graduate of St. John's High School, Pittston. Received his finance degree from Lackawanna Junior College. He completed basic training, Fort Knox, Kentucky, and served in the U.S. Army Reserve for a number of years. Employed at the First National Bank, later known as Northeastern Bank, then PNC in Avoca. Decades-long employment, retiring as vice president of the bank. He later accepted a position with Old Forge Bank, where he served as director of business development. Cherished husband, father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend. He was a great lover of the outdoors. Preceded in death tragically by his grandson, Jamie Jim Kephart. In addition to his wife surviving, our daughters, a son, grandchildren, and many other family members. Steve Brick, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Oh, that means the weather. Storm Tracker 16 forecaster meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, morning clouds, breezy with sunshine in the afternoon. It'll be about 37. Well, it's going to be better than that. It's 38 outside the studio right now. Tonight, cloudy with a chance of flurries down to 25. Christmas Day, cloudy and milder, 40. Friday, cloudy and colder with snow developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday morning. Accumulations of 6 inches or more possible on Friday, high at 27. Saturday morning, snow showers, otherwise cloudy and cold, 30. Then Sunday might get nasty. Cloudy with a mix of rain and snow and sleet, high 35 with temperatures dropping through the day. I'm a hangout guy. I'll stay home. Don't you worry about it. Cat Matthews from Peckville, a multi-talented artist. That's his song, Snow on Christmas Morning. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. I've got friends who are in Florida that are on, they listen to the show and they're on, they're dear friends and they're on text with me. And one friend, T. Bell, he sent in a picture of the beach. It says, with the current view of Anna Maria Island, it says, as the saying goes, 68 inches of sunshine in the forecast for day. Oh, great stuff. Anyway, let's go to Joe from Plains. He hung in there for us. He's got a poem, an Italian Christmas poem.
Yes, this is how us Italians celebrate Christmas. And it starts out something like this. 'Twas Christmas morning, and all through the house was the smell of meatballs and mom's spaghetti sauce. You opened the lid to have a look. A slice of bread is what you took. The prosciuttos were hung in the basement with care. The smell of black pepper was everywhere. Santa came down the chimney, no doubt. He would eat so much he couldn't get out. He would land in the yard with that black Cadillac, all of the presents tucked neatly in the back. There was Uncle Peppino, Dominic, Tony, and Satch as they lit their perotis with a big wooden match. On the radio was Dino and Frankie, and let's not forget Lou Monte and his Italian dog. If there was something that had to get fixed, it was a simple call to Uncle Nick. The wine was flowing. Everyone had a glass. It was so strong it would knock you on your ass. They drank to get mellow and not to get drunk. Another biscotti is what you would dunk. The insults would fly as the voices got louder. Stupido, testadura, whose head was harder. The presents were open under the tree, just like a scene from the Mafia movie. Let's have a toast to Joey Bada Bing. Hey, don't forget that other thing. Italian bread made from twice risen dough. The one with the red nose is Uncle Guido. The accordion, of course, came out for a song. Another gallon of wine. It doesn't last long. It wasn't long. Dessert was to follow. Torroni, spumoni, sambuca to swallow. At the end of the night, your paisanos you'd miss. Till next year. Buona Natale. Merry Christmas.
That is fantastic. Joe, I was laughing so hard at one point I pulled my microphone out of the board. That is fantastic. All right, you got to make me a promise. You got to do this on our last show of before Christmas every year, okay?
Well, let's see what we can do. I don't think that's asking too much or impossible.
My friend. Thank you. Love it, love it, love it.
Good holidays.
Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Thank you.
Bye.
Joe from Plains, Poet Joe. Poet Joe. Well, we got another paisan, and he's got a slightly different take, and he's going to be on an extremely short leash today. But here he is, up and coming. Guess who? Yes, it's the Pie Man cometh. Pie Man, you're on an you're on an extremely short leash today because we had to do Poet Joe.
Christmas.
Did you hear that poem? That is hilarious.
Yeah, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Man.
It reminds me, yes, of always stealing meatballs in the gravy
Right?
before your mother would catch you.
Absolutely perfect. Perfect.
Well, Buona Natale, Bob. Are you having the 7 fishes tonight?
Well, we do the Slovak version, though. Now, over the years, things like bacala have snuck in there. But see, we started off at my grandmother's now, and the opening is mushroom soup with sauerkraut sauce. Now, it doesn't sound great. It is awesome. I look forward to the taste of it all year.
I'll have to come up and have some with you.
Oh, you're always welcome. You know that. You kidding me?
Right.
You're family, Pie Man. Of course you could come.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
Well,
give us a quick,
let's get into it.
quick wrap on the Eagles this weekend.
Okay, well, welcome to Week 17. The Philadelphia Eagles, 10-3, visit the Buffalo Bills, 11-4 at Highmark Stadium for a heavyweight showdown. Bob, I'm going to start right off with Vegas opening lines. It was at 1.5 given to the Eagles, but it's down to 0 now. The over/under is 46.5. A lot of experts think this could be a preview of Super Bowl 60.
Okay.
And the Eagles can send a message across the NFL if they win this game. They are the defending champions. Being they don't have much time, the Eagles will face a Bills team with a dangerous offense but a shaky defense. It's a heavyweight
When
battle.
is this game? Friday? Not tomorrow, is it?
It's Sunday. Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay. Okay.
4:25. I mean, there were questions about Nick Sirianni resting his players because they did win the NFC East last week, beating the Washington Commanders in a decisive win, 29-18. However, on the other hand, Bob, the Buffalo Bills just squeaked out a victory to the lowly 3-12 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
It's proof that they're a team with more issues than their record indicates.
Where's the game at? Is it Philly or Buffalo?
No, it's in Buffalo.
Oh, we're going to get snow.
It's going to be 29 degrees, slushy. Typical Buffalo weather, which is going to. Philly, the Eagles are used to that. It's not like, the Rams or anything, but.
Hey, my friend Paul Lockett says he's going to that game, and he says, let's go Bills, and the Eagles can't win this. What say you, Pie Man, to Paul?
Okay, I say, this is going to be smash mouth football, and they're not going to be able. The Buffalo Bills are second to last in their run defense, and that means Saquon Barkley is going to have a monster game.
Okay.
Also, reinforcements for the Eagles: Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter are back.
Oh, great.
The weather could be an issue here, but let's get to my prediction and then talk for a few seconds about the playoff picture. My
no time for the playoff
Bob,
picture today. Let's predict. Fire away.
Okay, I'm saying 27-24 Eagles.
And Navy guy always says I predict that the Pie Man will predict the Eagles to win.
What do you expect?
Love it.
We're going to the Super Bowl, Bob. Get ready.
Honest to God. All right, Pie Man. Thank you, brother. Merry Christmas, my friend. Thank you for checking in.
Merry Christmas, you and the whole great Cordaro family, brother.
Okay, my man.
All right, on to the
tower. The Pie Man cometh.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
The Pie Man cometh. The Pie Man speaketh. And now the Pie Man goeth. All right. We'll be back after this. Yeah, Perry Como, do it. Murph says this is from 1954. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. Let's go quickly to Joe from Berwick. Joe, Merry Christmas.
Bob. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Bob. So I just, one thing I want to remind you of, make sure you give Jake a Merry Christmas for me and congratulate him on his Steelers having 19 straight years without a losing season. I know he'll be excited about that. And, the other thing I just wanted to remind you of, Bob, I think you have access to something that I don't anymore, and I'd like to remind you to take advantage of it. When I was growing up in the Catholic Church there in Hazleton, they always had these bake sales every year, and the ladies of the church, and they bake a lot of bread. If you have access to that, take advantage of that, because down here in Columbia County, I guess some agreement was made years ago to avoid a situation like Northern Ireland, and they allowed one Catholic church in Berwick and one in Bloomsburg, and that's all I have access to.
Okay.
But but if you have those places around you, Bob, boy, I remember the food and how good it was. Take advantage of it.
All right, man. Well, I have, if you want to speak of bread, my friend Kenny Smith's going to drop a loaf off. Famous Smith's restaurant bread. So I'm good. I'm good on that front. I'm covered. All right?
All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you and yours,
Joe.
Bob.
Thank you so much. Hey, Captain Matthews is on the line. He is, we played his song, Snow on a Christmas Morning. I love that song, Cat. I love it.
I am honored to hear that. How are you, Bob?
Great. We're doing great.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. I just wanted to call in and, of course, say thank you for playing that all month. Everybody keeps telling me they hear it, but I'm at work and I can't listen, so.
Well, it's for, the song already. It's for everybody else.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times.
But you went country with it, and I like that even more.
I know. I felt like a lot of people, I said this the other day on my podcast. I said, it seems like all the Christmas songs have been around for like 70 years, and there's not really many new ones.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of people, they cover songs, but I wanted to do a new song. So I was like, all right, we're going to do it in the country style, and I feel like it worked.
Well, I tell people every time I play that song, I said, Cap Matthews is not just a musical artist. He's an artiste as well.
Ah, yes. I said it for many years. I did everything that didn't make money. Stand-up comedy, music, painting. And I don't regret it. But, hey, it's what God gave me.
And we have all of it as a legacy. And you're still a young guy yet, so,
Exactly. Maybe one day it'll work out. Any decade now.
Well, we always do this. I think of like people later in life. Colonel Sanders, he didn't make it until he was in his 60s, So you
That's
got
why I have a poster of him on my wall.
Plugging. Well, there you go, an inspiration. and you just keep plugging, man. You're great. You do great stuff.
I'm honored to hear it. I'm so happy you like it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and your show and all the support you do for local people. You're the best.
Listen, anytime you drop some music, you let us know, okay?
I'll be in touch with you soon.
Thanks, Kat. Love it. Merry Christmas
Merry
to you
Christmas.
and the whole family. The whole family. By the way, I mentioned your name and I said local artist. Somebody's texted me and they said, he's from Peckville. Don't say local.
Actually, believe it or not, I'm actually in Jessup now. I moved really far away.
Well, we play Christmas Lights on Church Street by Robert Michael, a Jessup
We
native.
know Bob.
Yeah, so we play his song too. Hey,
He's like my neighbor.
We appreciate your music. Keep it going. Well, tell Bob we appreciate his song as well.
We will. Thank you, Bob.
All right, brother. Merry Christmas. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11 o'clock. It's what it is, so we've got to go. Hey, we're coming with Rick Bigelow on the other side with, please remember this. We heard from the great Joe Barna and him being in Korea in the height of war and battle on Christmas Eve and Christmas. We're going to hear about World War II and the exact same thing. We'll take a break and be back. great good morning, everyone. Christmas Eve. It's 11:09 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. Not too late to stop by for a gift certificate, or you might see something perfect at Picardo's. But it's 11:09 on that watch on this beautiful Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. Permit me to say happy birthday, Grandma Cordaro. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Steve Brick of DuPont, Jerry Vassell of Tunkhannock via Exeter, Keith Harris of Old Forge, Floyd Robb of Springbrook, Edward Powell of Jefferson Township, and Roscoe Monty Kishback of Berwick. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense, our commitment to Christmas, will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of this hour. Couple of quick texts I want to get to because I don't want to forget. Ginny C. checking in, wishing a Merry Christmas to us and to Lorraine. And another Merry Christmas to Lorraine. First of all, Ginny C., Merry Christmas to you. Charles from Scott Township checking in. He says, I hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas. The true gift as the Bible, God's word, John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whom should believe in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Amen. Another Christmas isn't Christmas story without watching a Christmas story. 24 hours starting tonight. Cabinet Guy, I know it, man. I know. We watched Cabinet Guy last night. I watched Scrooge, which is the Albert Finney Scrooge, which is my favorite, which we've been playing little snippets of, and we're going to play December the 25th after the next break. Love those things. Somebody texted in to wishing Poet Joe a Merry Christmas. Another, I miss my grandmother's mushroom soup. No one in the family can reproduce it to this day. Christmas Eve hasn't been the same. You're right, Cabinet Guy. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. What are you going to have? Chicken noodle soup? Please. It's Christmas Eve. Another, good morning, Bob, listening from afar, LTS. Your show brings back great memories of Christmas growing up in an Italian-Slovak family in West Scranton. Merry Christmas and wishing you a peaceful New Year, says Brian H. in Collegeville. Merry Christmas, Brian. Hi, Bob. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to the listeners and Lorraine. And another, LTS for all time. Thank you, sir, for being on the air today. Fantastic show. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you. LTS and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jesus. Love the story David DeCosmo related. I believe in miracles. And somebody else texted in, Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas back at you. And Merry Christmas to all. Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, imagine this weather. And the weather we're going to get Friday and Sunday. Snow, sleet, freezing. Our American heroes were fighting the Battle of Bulge. And our friend Rick Bigelow is here to tell us a little bit about it. Rick, welcome. Our patent attorney and historian extraordinaire. Welcome back, and thank you for telling us about Christmas Eve and Christmas back in 1944.
Glad to be with you, Bob. Let's get right to it. The Battle of the Bulge happened from December 16th, 1944 through January 28th, 1945. The Germans called it the Unternehmen Wacht on Rhein, and the Wacht on Rhein was a patriotic German song, so Hitler was putting everything into this that he could. This was the largest U.S. Army battle of World War II. So the background on it, after D-Day on June 6th, for the first 3 months, we slogged through Normandy, took Paris at the end of August 1944, and we were moving on a broad front, pushing the Nazis back towards the Siegfried Line in Germany. We took part in Operation Market Garden, September 17th through the 25th, 1944, where we invaded the Low Countries with a major airborne and ground force. Wanted to take major areas in the Netherlands in preparation for the invasion of Germany. And this is what the movie A Bridge Too Far is based on. At this point in time, logistics was becoming an issue. We still were bringing most of our logistics in through the port of Cherbourg, which was several hundred miles away at the time. So towards the end of November, early into December, we decided to take a pause, regroup, let the troops rest and recover a little bit, and let our logistics catch up with the troops. We'd been making really good progress, and we were pushing the Germans further and further out of France and the Low Countries and into Germany. We also focused on taking another port, so we took Antwerp, which was an inland port, about 50 miles inland from the North Sea. But the Germans still held the river all the way to the North Sea, so it wasn't fully operational yet. So logistics was an issue. From September 19th through the 16th of December, the Battle of the Hurtgen Forest took place, and that was really right next to the Ardennes, where the Battle of the Bulge was going to take place. So the Battle of Hurtgen Forest was a series of battles between the U.S. and the Germans just north of the Ardennes. We didn't know it at the time, but the Hurtgen Forest was a staging area for the Battle of the Bulge, and that's where Hitler was going to put a lot of his tanks and troops and his armored units. So they wanted to hold on to that. So as we get into the middle of December, here's kind of where we were. The Canadian First Army was in the far north. The British Second Army was just south of the Canadians. We had the Ninth and the Third Armies, and the First Army, U.S. armies, were below the British. And then we had the Third Army under Patton, which was about 100 miles south of the U.S. Ninth and First Armies. They were along the German border and were preparing to advance into the Reich itself. The 82nd and 101st Airborne were in reserve some 50 miles west of Bastogne. So Hitler's plan, and of course this was secret, very secret, and it was amazing how secret they kept it.
Yeah.
But his plan was to go through the Ardennes forest and with a lightning strike go up and take the port of Antwerp, and they were supposed to do it in about 5 days. He had 3 whole armies, including 1 Panzer army, that were going to go ahead and effect this. One of the keys is at this point in time, they were really running low on their own logistics and especially oil. So one of the directives to all the troops was, whenever you can, take Allied fuel dumps, or if you see a damaged Allied Jeep, tank, whatever, siphon the oil or gas out of it so they could put it in their own vehicles and tanks. So I mean, this was a shot in the dark for Hitler. When he told his top commanders about it, they said, "You might have a 10% chance of affecting this," but this is only a couple months after the assassination attempt of Hitler, and none of them were willing to challenge Hitler at all. So they just went along with it, knowing it was probably going to be a suicide run.
Now, but sort of a threshold question. Why in God's name did Hitler decide to attack the Allies instead of the Soviets with all these resources he scrapped together?
He already had a lot of troops committed against the Soviets.
Yeah.
If he had taken all his troops out of the Western Front and sent them to the Eastern Front, they probably the Allies could have walked into Berlin.
But they knew who
if that happens.
They knew who they'd rather surrender to.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
In fact, his plan once he got to Antwerp was he hoped that the Allies at that point in time would negotiate an end to activities so he could focus on the Eastern Front against the Soviets.
And we're not talking about a sane person at this point either. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right. In fact, he was pretty sick and he was taking a lot of drugs and it looked like he had Parkinson's disease. So he was not playing with the full deck at all. So he needed bad weather, and the reason he needed bad weather was he needed clouds, rain, snow, fog, so that the Allies couldn't fly and attack his forces and do reconnaissance and everything like that. So once there was assured 4 days of bad weather, they'd conduct a lightning strike against U.S. troops, surround and annihilate the Allies, and hope that they'd be willing to enter into peace negotiations. He had pretty much done the same thing in 1940 when he went through the Ardennes and attacked France. But this time he was, instead of going due west, he was going to be going somewhat north to go towards Brussels and Antwerp. So we had no idea that he was massing in the forest. The Allies did some great things with ultra intercepts of the Enigma traffic, that message traffic, but all of a sudden the ultra intercepts were way down. The bad weather kept recon flights to a minimum, and actually at this point in time, a lot of our troops were suffering from that old victory disease, where they really thought the war was pretty much over and they'd be home by spring. And that was the rumors going through all the divisions. We had 96 divisions in France and Belgium. The Germans had 55, but they were under strength. And I don't think his generals ever told Hitler that his divisions were under strength. We had 11,000 aircraft in the UK and France. The Germans only had about 1,000 aircraft available. He had a very aggressive timetable, pierce the line by the end of the first day, get the panzers through the Ardennes by the end of the second day, reach the Meuse River by the end of the third day, seize Antwerp by the fourth day. Of course, they never got anywhere close to this. And he needed the following to be in order for him to be successful. Attack had to be a complete surprise. Well, it was. Weather had to be poor for at least 4 days. It was. Progress had to be rapid. The Meuse had to be crossed in 4 days. They never got close to that. And one of the key things, like I mentioned, is they had to capture Allied fuel supplies along the way because the Wehrmacht was out of oil. At this point in time, most of the oil was coming from Polesti in Romania for the Germans, and the Soviets were closing in on it. So it was desperate all over the place.
Rick Bigelow is our guest, the Battle of the Bulge. Rick, we've got to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about very quickly about the Battle for Bastogne. Rick Bigelow, Battle of the Bulge, raging 81 years ago today. We'll take a break and be back. Frank Sinatra. Murph says 1957. And this song is special to me because I think of all the people, they might be alone on Christmas or just have one or two friends or family members, and this is for them, that song. Great stuff. And, of course, the amazing, and thanks to the Bulldog on this especially, 1968. Can you imagine this happening today? I would love it. The Apollo 8 astronauts orbiting the moon read passages from the Old Testament book of Genesis during a Christmas Eve telecast. Amazing. Somebody said they don't think that talking about the war on Christmas Eve is appropriate. I've got to respectfully disagree with you. I know your sense of it, but they were fighting to preserve democracy to put Hitler and the Nazis back in their little box on Christmas Eve, and that has to be remembered. It has to be. They weren't here going to the Globe store or Boscov's. They were there. And let's get, on that note, let's get back to Rick Bigelow. Rick, quickly to Bastogne and then the aftermath, because it was a bloody mess.
Right. Well, the attack started on the 16th of December, and the Germans quickly overran the forward units and took a lot of prisoners. And it became very clear very early on that Bastogne was going to be a central battle because there were something like 11 hardtop roads that led in and out of Bastogne and led up towards Antwerp and the Meuse River that were going to be, if you controlled them, then they were going to be able to come. So by December 21st, Bastogne was surrounded, and the Americans that were there were running out of food, fuel, ammunition, medical supplies, so on and so forth. The 101st Airborne was dispatched to Bastogne to help fight against the Germans. The German general sent a message to the Americans demanding surrender. Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe replied with one word, nuts, which has gone down in history as the best ever response to a demand to surrender. And of course, the Germans had no idea what he meant by that. So at a meeting in Verdun on December 19th, Ike asked his commanders who could help relieve Bastogne, and really nobody else could, except Patton said he could attack with 2 divisions in 48 hours. Nobody believed him, but Ike told him to go ahead and do it. And in fact, Patton had already started moving his troops before Ike's meeting. Despite ferocious artillery attacks, Bastogne held. On the December 23rd, the weather started to clear, and the Allied air forces bombed and strafed German units and destroyed German supplies and dropped supplies for U.S. troops and the citizens of Bastogne. At this point in time, it was clear that the Germans weren't going to be able to take Bastogne. A few days later, Patton's lead elements of Patton's Third Army entered Bastogne, and the Germans started to withdraw. By Christmas Day, overall, the German offensive has essentially stalled. German commanders requested permission to withdraw, which Hitler denied. So this resulted in needless destruction of several German divisions and loss or capture of many German soldiers who would have otherwise been used in the defense of Germany, either on the Eastern or the Western Front. So in early January, the Allies began the tough process of reclaiming the territory lost. The Allies now had 700,000 troops in the Bulge. The Germans were down to about 400,000. By the end of January, the Allies had returned to the lines where they were on December 16th of 1944. So the aftermath, Hitler's desperate gamble gained him absolutely nothing and cost him the lives of tens of thousands of soldiers and loss of irreplaceable equipment. Everyone knew the war was lost, and it was just a matter of time until the Soviets and the Allies conquered the Germans. The toll was outrageous. The U.S. suffered 8,400 killed in action, 72,000 wounded, and 21,000 missing in action, mostly POWs.
Wow.
The Germans suffered 15,000 killed in action, 80,000 wounded in action, and over 100,000 POWs. An estimated 3,000 Belgian civilians were killed during the Battle of the Bulge. So that was a quick snapshot of what happened at the Battle of the Bulge. And at this point in time, we were getting ready to enter Germany and bring the war in Europe to a close.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for that. I think it's so important that people understand when we're having our celebrations, there were people that weren't celebrating, and that's the reason we can. Very important to bring that to us. I appreciate it.
I agree with you, Bob.
All right, my man. Rick, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for a great year of history and lessons on history. Love it and look forward to next year with you.
Glad to do it, Bob, and Merry Christmas to you, too.
All right. Rick Bigelow, patent attorney extraordinaire. He's our historian, and we love him. We'll take a break and be back with the Veterans Tribute after this. Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by John Basiliga, Basiliga Hospitality, one of his great companies. Old Brook Inn, Far Street Tavern, Queen City Tavern, Fine Dining, Terra 519, and the Stegmeyer Mansion And you could get a universal gift certificate for all of them for your last-minute Christmas gifts. Solves a lot of issues. And I guarantee you they'll be happy. Cutie was down at Atera last night. It was packed. Really hopping. Edward Powell. We lost him December 8th. He was from Jefferson Township. He had Alzheimer's and a 9-year battle with that dread disease. Born in DuPont back in 1938. Often talked about growing up on Leidy's Road and of the men in his family that worked in the coal mines. Tragically, he was preceded in death by 2 twin granddaughters, Megan and Allison. He was an Army veteran stationed at Fort Sill in Oklahoma during the Vietnam War. He retired in 1989 from Eastern Airlines, Newark, New Jersey, after being employed there for 32 years. In his early years, he fueled the airplanes and worked in air freight until the airline went out of business. He was proud to work there with his Uncle Herm and Uncle Bob. He passed away, in fact, proudly wearing his Eastern Airlines beanie. He went on to work for Metuchen Board of Education and was a custodian at the Campbell School for the remainder of his working career. After residing in Metuchen, New Jersey for 40 years, Edward and Isabel both retired and returned home to northeastern Pennsylvania in 2003. Proud dad, but he was over the moon to be a grandfather. Poppy. Living with Alzheimer's is difficult on the family, but his family will hold on to the memories of him looking out for them, joking with their friends, walking downtown, birthday gifts, catching frogs, all of that. He enjoyed restoring his 1955 Chevy Bel Air. To be remembered in so many ways, like Pizza Fridays with Ed as chef, will never be forgotten. Surviving is Edward Powell's loving wife of 64 years, Isabel Powell, his son, his daughter, 2 grandchildren, and many, many other family members. Edward and Isabel, they were also foster parents and had a number of children pass through their lives. Oh, great. Edward Powell. Roscoe Monty Kishbach, avid golfer, baseball coach who worked at Wise. He was 96 when we lost him December 8th. He was from Berwick. Born in Berwick back in 1929, the last living child born to Roscoe and Grace Kishbach. Graduate of Nescapec High School, class of 48, a driven athlete. After graduation, he continued to play baseball and excelled to the point he was invited to play professionally. Instead, he chose to stay home to help with the family business, which was a distributor for Sunshine Beer. During his time driving the delivery truck, Monty served in the National Guard and was called to active duty. He later drove truck for Wise Potato Chips. He was an excellent driver, earning his badge for more than 2 million miles of accident-free driving. After retirement, he bartended at Ranger Hose Company for more than 20 years. Member of the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, Berwick. He served as communion assistant, assisting minister, usher, and property committee. Member of the Ranger Hose Company, a life member of the Nescapec Volunteer Fire Company #1, the Elks Lodge, and the former member of Knapp Lodge, as well as Caldwell Consistory, Valley of Bloomsburg. He played in the Wise Golf Leagues, and he was good. Lovingly referred to as Roscoe by his close friends, a warm and benevolent soul. He approached life with resilience, quick-witted sense of humor, and an unforgettable smile. His true legacy lies in his unwavering love, generosity, and kindness to his wife, Betty Ann Kishbach, with whom he celebrated 63 years of marriage this past October. He leaves behind his children, a grandson, and many other family members. Roscoe Monty Kishbach. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, morning clouds, breezy, sunshine in the afternoon. It'll be about well, it's not going to be 37. It's 39 now. Tonight, cloudy with a chance of flurries, low 25. Christmas Day, cloudy and milder, 40 degrees. Friday, cloudy and cooler with snow developing in the afternoon, continuing into Saturday morning. Accumulations of 6 inches or more possible. High 27. Saturday, morning showers, otherwise cloudy and cold, 30. Sunday, cloudy with a mix of rain, snow, and sleet, 35 with temperatures dropping through the day. So we'll watch that Buffalo game with the Eagles and in the midst of renewed snow and all of that. Hey, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that way this time of year. Hey, let's get to Mother Teresa quickly before we hear our pieces. December 24th. I don't want to forget this. Mother Teresa. She said, "It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa, dutifully provided by Mary Regina, and Merry Christmas, Mary Regina, and Bob, and all the Perrys, and all the Harringtons. Go, Bulldog. Lawrence Naismith, December the 25th from the movie Scrooge with Albert Finney from 1970, one of my favorite movies of all time, of any genre. Gary asking if I had read this. He had sent to me via email, and I believe I did. A couple of days ago, one of the last remaining Pearl Harbor survivors died at age 105. I think I did, Gary, because you have to send it to me again. I'll read it anytime. I really will. Not today, but because we're out of time. But I think I did because I remember talking about that we had hundreds of people from Northeast Pennsylvania, hundreds who served and were in and at Pearl Harbor. Incredible. Hey, quickly, my man Mark from Hazleton, he said, back in the 60s when I was a youngster, for Christmas Eve, we had angel hair pasta, garlic, anchovies with smelts. How many 5-year-olds would eat that? He says, I not only ate it, I liked it, and here's my story. Back in the 60s, Christmas Eve in our house was an adventure in flavors that most 5-year-olds would have run from. While other kids dreamed of candy and chocolate, we faced a dinner that could have scared off grown-ups. Angel hair pasta tossed with pungent garlic, briny anchovies, and tiny silvery smelts glinting like little Christmas ornaments. The kitchen smelled bold and alive, and the grown-ups around the table seemed to eat with quiet satisfaction, as if daring us to follow suit. He says, most kids would have staged a mutiny. Me, I dove in like a fearless explorer, savoring every sharp, salty bite. It was funny, it was strange, and somehow it was magical. That night, I discovered early lessons in courage and curiosity, that joy could be found in the unexpected, that the unusual could be exciting, and that sometimes being a little different wasn't just okay. It was delicious. Thank you, Mark from Hazleton. And I sharing a somewhat similar experience, because when we went to Slovak, we had mushroom soup, which I now love. I can't imagine Christmas Eve without it. And literally there was nothing we liked except the mashed potatoes. I didn't like fish then, anything. And over the years, I'm like, I can't wait for tonight. Johnny, my man Johnny Anelli, helping my mom with all that stuff as I speak. Great stuff. All right, we got to take a break, though. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. We've got I'll Be Home for Christmas to finish with, but we also have to actually close the show out, Scrooged, and the ending talk that Bill Murray has with his audience on that great movie. We'll be back. Bill Murray in the movie Scrooge, absolutely fabulous. We're finishing with Bing Crosby. I'll be home for Christmas. Murph says 1943. And somebody had requested the Bill Murray and David Bowie song, and I didn't get to it. I apologize. But we got to Bing anyway. And Rich the Courier says Merry Christmas. And my man Andrew in Jersey says he did the 7 fishes. And he also had Slovak relatives who did cookies that were a nice treat. We also break the communion bread tonight. Mountaintop says, I like hearing Rick Bigelow's history lesson. It makes me appreciate Christmas in a free country. We need to remember how lonely and dark and scary, think of it, it must have been for those brave men who just wish to be home safe and warm with their families. Thank you, and Mr. Bigelow, for making my holiday more sentimental. Well, LTS back at you, Mountaintop. Merry Christmas, Bob, to you and your family from the Greenfields. God bless. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. Another Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas back at you. Believe me, I mean it. And our veterans, final mention brought to you by our man John Basiliga, Basiliga Hospitality. I'm going to buy a couple of gift certificates right after this. Edward Powell, Jefferson Township. Steve Brick, DuPont. Jerry Vassell, Tunkhannock and Exeter. Keith Harris, Old Forge. Floyd Robb, Springbrook. And Roscoe Monty Kishback Berwick. Merry Christmas, everyone. We love you. We'll see you back here Monday.